Let me tell you about someone who tried to retire at 38. He had been working with WordPress since 2004. He had built a media company, invested in startups, spoken at over 100 WordCamps around the world. By 2018, he thought he was done. Enough was enough. Time to step back. But then, and this is my favorite part of the story, instead of retiring, he accidentally built a 100% team in 2 years. That's M Asif Rahman, founder of WPDeveloper, chairman of Startise, and the man behind the product ecosystem that now powers over 7 million websites across 180 plus countries. This is episode 3 of the Marketing Lessons from WordPress series. And this one is personal because this story comes from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and it is one of the most widely extraordinary business stories in the entire global WordPress ecosystem. Let's get into it. Asif Rahman grew up in Jaipurhat and completed his schooling in Ishwardi. In 2003, before most people in Bangladesh knew what a blog was, he launched a printed lifestyle magazine with a friend. The name was Fortnightly Tumi. Tumi meaning you in Bengali, printed on paper with 4 colors. That is the kind of person we are dealing with. Someone who sees media opportunities and moves on them fast. In 2004, while most of his classmates were figuring out universities, Asif found WordPress. And something clicked the same way it clicks for every person who eventually builds something great with it. He later wrote about this moment. I found making websites too easy with WordPress. Easy. That word is the key. Because when a builder finds something easy, he doesn't stop at using it. He finds a way to build on top of it. 2004 সালে ওয়ার্ডপ্রেস খুঁজে পাইছে আর তখন আমাদের বেশিরভাগ মানুষ ওয়ার্ডপ্রেস কি সেটা আমরা জানতাম না। He started ARCom, Air Communications in 2004, an enterprise level WordPress service company, Fortune 500 clients, media properties. He built the Tech Journal, which peaked at 10.2 million monthly users. He built the Dhaka Times, the biggest Bangla language lifestyle magazine, running 15 to 35 million monthly readers. He was an early stage investor in Facebook. Yeah, that Facebook, which is under Meta right now. He was an angel investor and an early Google Glass explorer. This is not a man who stumbled into tech. This is someone who was living inside the tech world in Dhaka, Bangladesh, while the rest of Bangladesh was still figuring out dial-up internet. Then around 2011-2012, he and his team started asking a different question. Instead of building websites and media properties for other people, what if they built products? Scalable, globally distributed WordPress plugins that could run on millions of websites without needing a single services engagement. That question became WPDeveloper. In 2016, Elementor launched and changed the WordPress page builder landscape forever. Within months, it was the fastest growing page builder in WordPress history, and the developer ecosystem scrambled to build add-ons for it. WPDeveloper's team, led by co-founder Nazmul Hassan Rupak, who had been building plugins on his own before partnering with Asif Rahman, saw the wave coming. They launched Essential Addons for Elementor. Now, this is Essential Addons for Elementor in WP.org, and we all can see they have 2 million plus active installations so far till now. And let's see how interactive they are with their clients. As I said in my previous video, we are not looking for reviews, rather we will go to the support system and let's see how active they are. This is impressive. As we see, most of the support tickets are already solved. This is what a good company does. This is how you should interact with your clients. The timing was precise, the product was excellent, and the growth was, there's really no other word for it, explosive. In 2017, launched. By April 2018, 60,000 active installations. By September 2018, 100,000 active installations, the first Elementor add-on to ever reach 100K. By December 2018, 1 million downloads. By 2019, 200,000, then 300,000 active users in the span of 3 months. Today, over 2 million active installations in 180 plus countries. The most used third-party Elementor extension on WordPress.org by a wide margin. এশিয়া থেকে প্রথম প্লাগইন যেটা 1 মিলিয়ন ইউজার ক্রস করছে, এটা কিন্তু খুব সহজ সরল ব্যাপার না। When Essential Addons hit 1 million users, Afshana Rahman, WPDeveloper's CMO, described the moment publicly. That was the very first plugin from Asia that crossed the 1 million user mark. Not just from Bangladesh, from Asia, the entire continent. That milestone was not just a number. It was a statement that said world-class software products can be built from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and reach millions of people globally without a Silicon Valley office, without a Series A, and without anyone's permission. Now, let me show you the WP Developer family. Let's go to that product page. Let's see their contribution history in WP.org. This is about their contribution profile. So as I'm making this video right now, just before 38 minutes ago, they committed to their plugin. WP Developer didn't stop at Essential Addons. They built an entire product family, each one solving a specific real problem that WordPress users face. Essential blocks for Gutenberg. When WordPress moved toward the block editor and Elementor users started asking, what about Gutenberg? WP Developer already had the answer. 200,000 plus active installations. Templately, a cloud-based template library with over 6,000 AI-powered ready templates, compatible with both Elementor and Gutenberg. You don't just get a template, you get it with AI-generated content already inside. Agencies that used to spend hours building the same type of landing page from scratch. This changed their workflow. Notification eggs, social proof, and FOMO marketing notifications. The pop-up that says, John from Texas just purchased this, or 500 people are looking at this right now, trusted by 40,000 plus businesses. Better Docs, a knowledge base and documentation plugin. 40,000 active users, and now with an AI chatbot add-on that answers your documentation questions automatically. Embed Press. Embed content from 250 plus resources. YouTube, Google Docs, Google Maps, Spotify, Twitch, directly into WordPress. 100,000 plus users. Schedule Press. Editorial calendar and automated content scheduling with automatic social sharing to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, and more. The only plugin your content team needs for publishing workflow. Better links, link management, URL shortening, and affiliate link tracking, all inside WordPress. The link management tool that agencies use to manage hundreds of redirect routes. Disable comments, one of the most simple, most download-free utilities in WP history. Over 1 million active installs, a plugin that does exactly one thing: turn off comments, and does it perfectly. Together, WP Developers products serve over 6 to 7 million users across 180 countries. This is not a plugin company. This is a software platform. And through it all, WP Developers team contributed back. At the time of the Startise announcement, over 50 WP Developer team members were active WP core contributors. Bangladesh was ranked number 1 in the world for WordPress core contributions among countries. WP Developer itself ranked in the top 5 globally among companies. WordPress core contribution e Bangladesh world ek number. Amra user na, amra builder. On February 22, 2024, the Radisson Blu Hotel in Dhaka, 500 plus invitees, employees, family members, industry leaders, government representatives, media personalities. The event was called, and I love this, the Grand Surprise Event. Nobody outside the core leadership team knew what was being announced. The entire tech industry was guessing, and then M Asif Rahman and Nazmul Hassan Rupo took the stage and said, WP Developer has outgrown its identity. We are no longer just a WordPress company, we are now Startise. Startise, parent company that would oversee 5 distinct brands. WP Developer, the WordPress product powerhouse, 30 plus plugins, 6-7 million users. Templately, AI-powered template cloud for WordPress with 6,000 plus templates. Easy Jobs, AI-powered recruitment, SaaS and ATS platform, empowering over 10,000 companies globally to hire remotely. Xcloud, a next generation cloud hosting control panel. Bring your own server, manage everything, zero vendor lock-in. Storeware, a Shopify product and app company specifically for Shopify merchants who want to grow their e-commerce presence. The CMO, Essential Rahman, who grew the company from 0 to 6 million users, described Startise as more than a name, more than a brand. It's a promise of innovation in tech and beyond. And Asif Rahman said something that I think is the most important single sentence in the entire story. WPDeveloper has long outgrown its current identity. That sentence is the whole lesson, because most founders never say it. They stay inside their original identity even when the business has already moved beyond it. They keep introducing themselves as a WordPress plugin company when they're actually running a multi-product, multi-market SaaS conglomerate. Asif said it out loud in public at the Redison in front of 500 people. পুরানো পরিচয় ছেড়ে দিতে সাহস লাগে। আমি শুধু WordPress plugin company এইটা বলা বন্ধ হয়েছিল। Now let me name what they have been doing all along, because every major decision WPDeveloper and Startise has made maps precisely to a proven marketing or business strategy. Here are 8. Platform parasitism. The first and most important strategic insight of WPDeveloper's early growth is what I called platform parasitism. I mean that as the highest possible compliment. When Elementor launched in 2016 and started growing explosively, WPDeveloper didn't compete with it. They fed off it. They made Essential Addons for Elementor, a product that makes Elementor better. Every new Elementor user was a potential Essential Addons user. Every Elementor tutorial on YouTube mentioned Essential Addons. Every Elementor community forum discussed Essential Addons. WPDeveloper didn't have to build a customer acquisition engine. Elementor's growth was their customer acquisition engine. This is textbook platform parasitism. Find the fastest growing platform in your ecosystem, build a product that makes it even better, and let the platform's momentum carry you. There was a risk. If the platform dies or builds your features natively, you are exposed. But here's a reward as well. The fastest possible way from 0 to a million users. Essential Rahman described it publicly. We didn't just promote our product. We contributed, engaged, and provided value. That was the turning point. When people started seeing Essential Addons as part of their workflow, not just another community contribution as marketing. Here is a strategy that almost nobody in the corporate world talks about. And yet it is one of the most powerful marketing tools available in open source ecosystems. WPDeveloper dedicates 20% of its working hours, one full day per week per employee, to contributing to the WordPress open source community. Code patches, documentations, testing, translations, code development. Why? Because in a community-driven ecosystem like WordPress, trust is the ultimate currency, and nothing buys trust like showing up, working for free, and making the platform better for everyone, including your competitors. When WPDeveloper ranked in the top 5 companies globally for WordPress core contributors, that ranking wasn't just a badge, it was marketing. Every developer who saw that ranking associated WPDeveloper with integrity, technical excellence, and genuine community commitment. When those developers needed a plugin, they already trusted the brand. This is contribution marketing, giving value to the community before extracting it. And it is the single most underutilized marketing strategy in the WordPress ecosystem. Solve your own problem first. Asif Rahman said this in a published interview. One big secret is that we never build products because there seems to be a market. We usually build products to solve our own problems. We develop a product when we feel that it could solve our own problem. We could be the first users. Read that again. They never build products because there seems to be a market. They build products because they personally need what doesn't exist. This is the oldest rule in product development, yet it is the most consistently ignored one. Most founders ask, what does the market want? WPDeveloper asks, what do we need right now that nobody else has built? When they needed better documentation for their own products, they built better docs. When they needed to schedule and auto-share their own content across social channels, they built SchedulePress. When they needed a better way to embed third-party content into WordPress pages, they built EmbedPress. Every product started as an internal tool that solved a real problem, and because they were solving their own problems, they were the most motivated, most knowledgeable first users of every product they shipped. This is called dogfooding at the product strategy level, and it produces better products, better support, and better documentation because the builders and the users are the same people. Profit sharing as a retention and recruitment strategy. Here's something that Startise does that most WordPress product companies and most Bangladeshi tech companies simply do not do. Every year, they hold a profit share distribution event publicly with ceremony, with employees and their families invited, and they distribute a portion of the company's annual profits directly to the team. Startise was described as one of the first private companies in Bangladesh to institutionalize profit sharing at this scale. And it's not just a financial benefit, it's a cultural statement. It says the people who build this are also the people who benefit from its success. In marketing, this is called internal brand building, using the company's treatment of its own people as a marketing signal to the outside world. When your team shares in profits, they don't just work, they advocate. They talk about the company with pride in communities, at conferences, to potential hires. They become your best marketing channel. এমপ্লয়ীদের সাথে প্রফিট শেয়ার করা শুধু ভালো কাজ না, এটা ওয়ান অফ দ্য স্মার্টেস্ট মার্কেটিং। জিনিসটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। The downstream effect. WPDeveloper consistently attracts strong talent in a competitive market, has low turnover by Bangladeshi tech industry standards, and has 120 plus people working with the kind of ownership mentality you can't buy with salary alone. Identity shedding at the right moment. This is the concept I want every founder watching this to burn into their memory. There is a moment in every growing company when the original identity becomes a cage, when the label you started with, WordPress plugin company, freelance developer, local agency, starts to limit how customers see you, how investors see you, and how your own team sees their work. Most founders know this moment is coming, and most of them miss it. They hold on to the old identity too long, out of comfort, out of fear, or simply because nobody forces the conversation. Asif Rahman did something rare. He recognized the moment explicitly. He said, WPDeveloper has long outgrown its current identity. And then he organized a 500-person event, hired a ballroom at the Radisson Blu, invited Bangladesh's media and tech elite, and performed the identity transition in public. This is what brand strategists call a public identity transition event. Deliberate, theatrical, unforgettable moment for self-reinvention that makes it impossible to go back to the old story. You can't unannounce Startise. You can't go back to saying, we are just a WordPress plugin company after the Daily Star covers your relaunch. The event was not a press conference. It was a statement of intent, and it worked. Portfolio diversification without losing the core. Here's a strategic tension that trips up almost every growing product company. How do you expand beyond your core without abandoning the audience that made you successful? Startise portfolio answer is elegant. Look at the 5 brands. WPDeveloper serves WordPress users. Templately serves both WordPress and Gutenberg builders. EasyJobs serve HR teams and founders completely outside WordPress. Xcloud serves developers and agencies who manage server infrastructure tangentially related to WordPress but not dependent on it. Storeware serves Shopify merchants, an entirely different ecosystem. Each product expands the total addressable market of the group, but none of them require the WordPress user base to follow. EasyJobs doesn't need you to be a WordPress user. Storeware doesn't care if you have ever touched a WordPress dashboard. This is horizontal diversification, expanding into adjacent and non-adjacent markets while keeping your original business intact and growing. The WordPress revenue funds the expansion. The expansion reduces the risk of WordPress dependency. If WordPress market share declines in 5 years, Startise has already built revenue streams that don't depend on it. WordPress-এ তৈরি কিন্তু WordPress-এর উপর বেস করে আরও কয়েকটা কোম্পানি দাঁড়াইছে। এইটাই লং টার্ম স্ট্র্যাটেজি, এইটাই লং টার্ম প্লে। The CMO has the brand. I want to give specific credit to something that doesn't get discussed enough in WordPress product companies. Afshana Rahman, Startise CMO, has been publicly credited for growing WPDeveloper from 0 to 6 million users. In a published Future Startup interview, She described how the marketing team was built from scratch, what skills they had for, and how the community strategy was shaped over years. This is significant for one reason. Most WordPress product companies treat marketing as a support function. Build a great product and the rest follows. WP Developer made marketing a founding function. The CMO is a named, visible, publicly quoted architect of the company's growth, not an afterthought. And here is the marketing concept: leader as brand. When Afshana speaks publicly about marketing strategy at WP Developer, she doesn't just build her own credibility, she builds trust with the company. Every marketing conference she speaks at, every interview she gives, every community post she writes, these are WP Developer brand touchpoints delivered through a human being. Human trust transfers to brand trust in a way that product pages never can. The most successful WordPress companies all have this. Said Balki's personal brand is WP Beginner. Shahjan Jewel's public presence is WP Managed Ninja. Asif Rahman's story is WP Developer. Afshana Rahman's expertise is Startise marketing. Invest in making your people visible. That visibility is your most durable brand asset. The grand gesture as brand event. Most companies announce things in a blog post, or a tweet, or an email to their list. Startise announced their parent company formation at a 500-person event at the Radisson Blu, with the president of BASIS, Bangladesh National Software Industry Association, on stage, with family members of employees invited, with national media in attendance. Why? Because the scale of the announcement signals the scale of the ambition. If you email your customers saying we have rebranded, they process it in 2 seconds and forget it. If you host an event that makes national newspapers, gets covered by the Daily Star, and becomes the most talked about moment in Bangladesh tech industry for that week, people remember it. They share it. They refer back to it. This is what event marketers call a landmark event strategy. Using a single, memorable public moment to create a permanent before and after in your brand's story. Before the Radisson event, WP Developer was a successful WordPress plugin company. After the Radisson event, Startise was a global tech conglomerate with ambitions well beyond WordPress. The event didn't just announce the change, the event was the change. ব্লগ পোস্টে অ্যানাউন্স করলে সেটা কেউ মনে রাখে না, রেডিসন ব্লুতে করলে দেখতেই তো পড়তেছে। What is the core lesson of the WP Developer and Startise story? It's this: every great product company started by solving one problem for one community better than anyone else, and then earned the right to expand. Essential Addons for Elementor was not a grand strategic vision. It was Elementor users need more widgets, and WP Developer could build them faster and better than anyone. That's it. That's simple. But here's the part that separates WP Developer from the hundreds of plugin companies that built Elementor add-ons and stayed small. They treated every product as a foundation, not a destination. Essential Addons funded Templately validated the template cloud concept. The combined audience of all their plugins funded EasyJobs and Xcloud. The credibility of WP Developer attracted Nazmul Rupok, who brought more products. The profit-sharing culture retained the talent that built more products. It compounds. Everything compounds. The product compounds. The team compounds. The brand compounds. The community compounds. But only if you stay consistent long enough for the compounding to begin. Asif Rahman started working with WordPress in 2004. Startise was announced in 2024. That's 20 years. 20 বছরের জার্নি, overnight success হয় নাই, compound হয়েছে। Free marketing lesson videos in now, awesome motive, WP Managed Ninja, and today WP Developer and Startise. From the USA, from Dhaka, from everywhere in between, people are building software that runs tens of millions of websites around the world, without venture capital, without Silicon Valley offices, without anyone's permission. And they are doing it with community, consistency, and the kind of long-term thinking that the quarterly report-driven Western tech world struggles to even imagine. If you are watching from Bangladesh, ভাইয়া বাপু, আমরা যে কত স্ট্রং সেটা হয়তো আমরা নিজেরাই জানি না, কিন্তু নাম্বারসগুলো জানে। Numbers কখনো মিথ্যা বলে। If you are watching from anywhere else in the world, pay attention to what's coming out of Bangladesh. because the best is still ahead. Next week, we continue.